Probably the biggest challenge is to remember what league we're in. Once we get that, we'll be okay.
We're going to be okay today. We're at Buffalo Wild Wings celebrating Angels in Disguise. Got a big crowd in here today. You missed it today, but you got an opportunity coming up next week to help us raise money for Angels in Disguise. We'll talk about that more today. But first, our word of the day from Darryl Bird of the Cat's Paws.
TV.
TV.
Not just TV show. TV is a wide receiver from Texas.
And Howie Lindsay, your word of the week is?
How about Yum?
Yum?
I know this isn't Yum Brands, but it'll factor into the show. We'll explain.
Well, one thing we want to tell you about here at Buffalo Wild Wings, when you come in, you can get your very own halo, a red one and a blue one for Kentucky and for Louisville. $1, you get a halo, you put your name on it, it goes on the display here at Buffalo Wild Wings, and that $1 will go to Angels in Disguise. Buffalo Wild Wings coming to you is the host site today for the Red and Blue Review.
Hi, I'm Simon Mahalik, and today we'd like to introduce you to
Angels
with Wings. Buffalo Wild Wings.
Those are some of the guys we'll be celebrating today here on our celebration of Angels in Disguise, those with Down syndrome. And I remind you, this version of the Red and Blue Review is brought to you by the Kentucky Office of Highway Safety. We are sharing the road with motorcycles. All right, let's get right into it. It's time for the lightning round on the Red and Blue Review. Football is a big topic for the University of Kentucky this year, finally, and one of the big men on campus this year is a freshman who's going to have to play a whole lot of football, Ryan Timmons.
Ryan's a home run, you know, a big-time importance to us. Ryan was the first school we went into, this new staff, myself or any of the assistants. First guy we went to see was Ryan Timmons. The key point there is dynamic player, and Ryan is fantastic. You know, he's a home run threat every time he touches the ball. He's very versatile, and again, tremendous family, great person, great student, joy to be around, and you know, was very, very high priority for us.
Good news is UK has installed the air raid, so there's going to be a lot of passing to wide receivers. Bad news, they have 4 scholarship wide receivers heading into fall camp. If you can stand upright and run and catch a ball, you're going to play wide receiver this year. Ryan Timmons is at the top of that ladder because he can play running back or wide receiver. He can catch the ball out of the backfield if need be, which they do a lot in the air raid. He can run the slot. He can go deep. He is going to get a ton of playing time to prove himself right off the bat.
Big man on campus for the University of Louisville is a guy who hasn't been on campus too much this year, Montrezl Harrell, one of the stars of Louisville's run to the national championship, part of the USA Under-19 World Championship basketball team. And Rick Pitino says as much competition as they faced in Prague, Louisville practices are even tougher.
Montrez really had a good week. I spoke to Billy Donovan, and he really had a good week, a good couple of weeks. And he'll be at practice today as well. So he's flown home and going to practice with our guys today. I would say our practices are probably more beneficial than that until competition sets in. You know, when you beat a team by 70 points, you're not getting a whole lot out of it.
Rick Pitino's doing some interesting things right now with the lineup. He's got Russ Smith on one team and Chris Jones on the other, letting those guys battle it out. I'm guessing he's probably going to put Shane Bohannon on one team and Montrezl Harrell on the other and let those guys battle it out. That's a clash of titans. I mean, both those guys are probably 250, you know, 6'8" or so, 250 pounds, and those guys are going to go at each other and make each other better all season long.
Howie, I jumped on the Montrez bandwagon during the NCAA championship run. He was fabulous in that, and I don't know what the competition was like in the Under-19 World Games, but he had big games against what I think must be world-class competition.
Yeah, he was a leading scorer in the gold medal game. That's the best competition they were going to face in the world. And he's playing on a team with future NBA draft picks. So if he's playing and they're playing him over those guys, that's got to be good.
Well, John Calipari was not about to go through another basketball season without a leader in the guard position. Well, this year he's got a couple of leaders. One of those guys in the guard position is Kentucky's Mr. Basketball and a part of the the state championship team from Madison Central, Dominic Hawkins.
And what I just went through, I wanted a tough point guard. I wanted one more tough, physical, how about this? Not just fighting physical tough. How about mentally tough? How about not break down? How about I'm bringing it? And I'm not afraid to be 16 down, and it has no effect on me. That's what I saw in Dominique and why we recruited him.
You can understand Calipari going out and get the Harrison twins, get two of the top point guard, shooting guard in the nation. Dominique Hawkins, he saw during the Sweet 16 run, his team fall way behind, and he just grab it and lead that team back more than once. And he jumped out and said, I want that kind of kid on my roster, especially after they went through what was probably the mentally weakest team we've seen in a long time. He wanted somebody, that toughness and that grit, and he's going to push the Harrisons. There's no doubt. We asked him early about being, going against the Harrison twins. He says, I don't remember. It was way early in the season. I remember I got 29 on him. Yeah. He's not backing down from anybody.
He hasn't forgotten that at all.
No.
Well, there was a red and blue tint to that state championship basketball game because obviously Dominique Hawkins was playing for Madison Central, and future Cardinal Quentin Snyder-Ballard was playing on the losing team in that game, and it was a great matchup. But one of the things I think to point out about Kentucky's basketball team coming up this year, I know they've got new guys, inexperienced guys, if you will, at the point guard and the two guard, the Harrison brothers, but they have played together for so long. That is an experienced position now because they played together so long. It's not like they're true rookies coming in.
It's going to be really interesting to see how it plays out, too, of the dynamic of they're together and maybe one improves a little quicker than the other, and watching how that plays out of Cal. Cal is all over his point guards. There's no secret to that. How's the other brother going to be? Well, wait, he's up by that's my bro over there. It'd be interesting to see how all that plays out, the dynamic of coaching two players that good who happen to be identical twins.
One of the things that occurred to Rick Pitino during the afterglow of the 2013 National Championship is the fact that the Cardinals may have not won that national title without a little inspiration, motivation, and perhaps a suggestion from the CEO of Yum, David Novak.
You know, I had an interesting conversation with David Novak. Some of you may not realize this, but David and I are very close friends from Yum Brands, and he recommended that I take a look at his nephew. His nephew's Tim Henderson. And then we were playing golf, and he said, you know, Rick, if I know you're going to be really strong this year, but if Tim Henderson is not good enough to compete, you know, you've got to do what you have to do. And I said, well, David, he's a big part of our basketball team, so you don't have to worry about Tim being cut from our team if that's what you're alluding to. And then I played golf with him once again this year, and I said, you know, David, that conversation you had before the season, just think back. If it wasn't for your nephew, we all don't celebrate a national championship and beat Wichita State. We were toast. The game was over if he doesn't make those 2 threes. You know, the first one I yelled, kill it, Tim, and the second one I was praying.
I think the first one we were all like, all right, kill it, Tim. Yeah. The second one we were, oh, man. But he hit them both, and really, truly, Louisville would not have won the title. I mean, that was part of that huge comeback. And that's what I think about, like, Dominique Hawkins. He's going to be a part of a moment like that if he's lucky, you know, because he's not a walk-on, of course, but, you know, bringing guys in with that kind of heart, that kind of local ties, those guys will contribute. I think back to, like, Preston Knowles. There have been some really good local kids. Dominique Hawkins is going to be one of those kids. Yeah. Tim Henderson has been one of those kids for Louisville.
Well, Tim Henderson was for that team what Cameron Mills was for the 98 Kentucky National Championship team.
Couldn't guard the back door if he had to. And we used to have fun torturing him about you can't guard anybody, but if you needed a 3, Cameron was going to drill it.
Red and Blue Review coming to you this week from Buffalo Wild Wings here in St. Matthews. We want to invite you to go to Buffalo Wild Wings on July 17th. That's another day when 10% of all proceeds at the restaurants at Clarksville, Dixie Highway, Highlands, J-Town, Middletown, St. Matthews, Springhurst, 10% of all sales that day go to Angels in Disguise. So mark it on your calendar. July 17th, another Angels in Disguise Day at Louisville Metro, Buffalo Wild Wings. Well, if you're going to have an air raid, you got to have somebody who can catch the football, especially if the Cats are playing on TV. And one of those guys they've just got out of Texas is TV Williams.
You got Coach Stoops coming from Florida State with that amazing defense. Then you got Coach Brown coming from Tech with that amazing offense. Combining it is just in the SEC, which is the best conference right now. I mean, it's a hard school to beat out.
We're scratching our heads. How in the world is UK in the top 5 in recruiting based on what they've had? You just heard him explain it. Coach Stoops, that name rings throughout the country with a lot of young players. The air raid, especially with offensive skill players, no doubt about it. And you mix in the SEC. Are you kidding me? It's a no-brainer for a lot of these kids. I want to go play this in a wide receiver, a slot guy. Looking at the playing time we were talking about earlier in the show, they want 10 quality wide receivers. They're nowhere near that. Number one here thinks I can walk in and start playing immediately.
Now, this is a small kid, right? But he's fast.
Exactly. He's a little dude, but he is so quick. Randall Cobb was 5'10" and a half.
Yeah.
I think they would take that.
They'd take a few more of those.
Take a few more.
Well, it looks troubling for the Louisville basketball team, knowing they're going to hit the court next year without their leader, Peyton Siva, who's now on to the NBA playing with the Detroit Pistons. But I think they're going to be okay at guard with Russ Smith, Kevin Ware, Chris Jones, Terry Rozier, and Anton Gill.
Certainly, we're very excited about the guys that are practicing right now. We had a practice yesterday, and we'll have a practice today, and they're all doing great. Watching Russ and Chris Jones go at it is something to really behold. I mean, those two guys going after each other, I put them on opposite teams just to make Russ better, make Chris better. And
they are going to make each other better, and I think Chris Jones is the type of kid, in terms of competitiveness, that's just not going to tolerate anything else. I mean, he will fight you if you don't compete on the court, and I think that's going to make Russ better. I think that's going to make Terry Rozier better. Terry Rozier is an unbelievable talent. I mean, he's drawn actual comparisons by actual, like, not just me, national analysts have compared him to Dwayne Wade. I mean, that's how good this kid has become. A lot of people moved him up into the top 20 nationally. He's got a lot of talent. I don't know whether he's going to become Dwayne Wade, but he's got that kind of ability to rise, and he's very, very athletic, and him taking the ball to the rack, it's pretty impressive.
Well, we saw just a moment ago how Kentucky is going down to Texas to get high school talent for the Wildcat football program. They went over to Southern Indiana and recruited middle school football talent, but they're not alone. It's a new trend in college sports. We'll talk about that after Daryl tells us about the freshly produced football yearbook.
Christmas morning, no doubt about it, in July. You know football season is very close, and you've got the football yearbook. 152 pages available, shopcatspaws.com.
Hi, Tim Fritz here for Tim Fritz Superstores in Elizabethtown. We're hanging steel and we're making deals. We also have over 130 cars at our Radcliffe and our Fort Knox locations. Hey, Brian, tell them about the Hot 100.
That's right, Tim. We have over 100 vehicles in stock priced at $250 per month or less, all ready for immediate delivery.
Stop by here in Elizabethtown and see us, or stop by Radcliffe or our Fort Knox locations. You can go online at 765auto.com or just give us a call at 765-AUTO because we've got an auto for you.
This is Chris with Boom Buyers Westport Village. Want to invite you out to check out one of our best-selling appetizers. This is the pretzel bread with our homemade beer cheese. Come out to Boom Buyers Westport Village today.
What's your idea of fun? Whatever your idea of fun is, we have a park for that. Kentucky State Parks.
Welcome to the new Bachman Subaru. We have expanded our Subaru service, sales, and parts departments to serve you, our customers. Bachman Subaru has our best ever selection of all the new Subaru models, or get a certified pre-owned Subaru from our great inventory. If you already own a Subaru, we now have an expanded service area for those few times you do need service. Visit us today at Bachman Subaru. Bachman makes the difference.
Bachman makes a difference.
To save more lives this summer, we've stepped up highway law enforcement. So, don't forget to buckle up, don't speed, and don't drive while impaired or distracted. Because this summer, we're going to have Kentucky completely covered. Blue lights across the bluegrass.
No excuses, no exceptions.
This is Chris with Boom Boss Pizza, Westport Village, inviting you out to try one of our best-selling pizzas. This is the traditional buffalo chicken pizza served on a gluten-free crust. Come out to Boom Boss Pizza today and give it a try.
Join the club at Sam Swope Auto Group. When you service a vehicle at any Sam Swope dealership, you automatically become a Service VIP Rewards member. You get member pricing on parts and service, lost key return, and emergency roadside assistance. Plus, you can earn points that qualify you for discounts on your next vehicle purchase, up to $2,500. The best part is becoming a member is free. Become a member today at any Sam Swope dealership. Nobody walks away because everybody saves.
Alright, welcome back. I'm Monica Mahalik, and we'd like to introduce you to angels
with wings. Buffalo Wild Wings.
Welcome back into Buffalo Wild Wings. We're celebrating Angels in Disguise today. And one of our angels, this is my son Grant, these Angels in Disguise are serving as servants today when they bring us our food. Grant, thanks for not eating the wings.
You're welcome.
You're the greatest. Here you go, Dad. Thanks very much. We're going to tear into those wings in just a bit, but let me remind you that you have the opportunity to contribute to Angels in Disguise by playing some golf. It's the Angels in Disguise golf tournament presented in part by Buffalo Wild Wings. It's going to be at Quail Chase on Friday, July 26th. If you'd like to contribute as a sponsor or put in a team, all you have to do is go to angelsindisguise.net. You'll find all the information right there to take part, to tee it up for Down syndrome. Okay, it's time to jump into our Game Time storyline. Well, as you know, for part of this summer, Kentucky had the #1 ranked football recruiting class in all the land, and one of the guys in a future class is a 7th grader from New Albany, Indiana. Offensive coordinator Neil Brown told me that UK is really following a trend that USC and LSU have already started.
I think what happens is when kids come to camp and there's serious talent that's recognized, recruiting is a 365-day job. So I think that, and it starts earlier and earlier. We didn't create the process. The process is what it is. And I think that you either play by the rules or you get left behind. I think what you are seeing is you've got to really heavily recruit not only the junior and the senior class, but you got to identify the freshmen and sophomores early and really pinpoint that those are going to be good fits for your program, which is hard.
Well, there's two things going on here. One, what they're talking about there is utterly ridiculous. That they're recruiting middle school kids and they have no choice. What it's going to come down to, the NCAA, the entity we love, is going to have to come out and say, 0 contact until a certain grade. That's the only way it will stop, because it is going to escalate from this point forward, and more schools are going to do it. You have to keep up. It's such a big money business. You have no choice until somebody stops it.
Mock him if you must, but Billy Gillespie got it all started.
Yes, he did.
Way back when those guys panned out.
Those guys panned out.
Yeah. Well, Neil Brown is going to be debuting his offense in the same game in which Bobby Petrino will unveil his Western Kentucky offense. It'll be Western Kentucky against Kentucky. Now, you would think with this young staff that Kentucky's got and Bobby Petrino, who this week was named one of the top 10 college football coaches in all of America, that would give Petrino an advantage over the rookie Kentucky coach, Mark Stoops.
Coach Stoops has a lot of experience, been in a lot of big games as a defensive coordinator. Obviously has a couple brothers that can help him out. So it's really going to be about who gets their team ready to play and how you handle adversity. There's going to be a lot of changes in momentum as that game goes on. And what we need to do, what I'm focused on, is that we can play better in the second quarter than we did in the first, play better in the third quarter than we did the first half, and then be tough enough to finish the game with a win.
I think it's probably as important as games we're going to play all year. Our kids are going to be excited. I think there'll be a lot of blue in the stands. And, Coach Petrino has done as good a job on offense as anybody. And then after sitting out a year, I'm sure he's biting at the bit to get at it.
I can't wait for this game. I can't wait for this game. I can't wait to see what UK's new offense and defense looks like. I can't wait to see what Bobby Petrino is going to do at Western. I can't wait to see how much he got installed already over the summer. This is one of the most intriguing games in all of college football. Two brand new coaches in the same state, two big-time names, Stoops and Petrino. This is going to be a blockbuster game.
It's going to be really interesting because, in fairness, you think the advantage coaching-wise has to go to Petrino.
Right.
With the success he's had, and we hear all the rumblings we do down Bowling Green Way, they're going to be a lot better than everybody thinks. Sure. Petrino thinks they are. But Stoops, if there was ever an assistant who's never been a head coach who's ready from day one to be a head coach, it appears to be Mark Stoops. He's hitting home runs. and Neil Brown is just setting the world on fire. It's going to, Browie's right, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, Howie, I got to ask you, you've got the guy who left your program playing the enemy. Who are you pulling for?
As a Bowling Green native, I would be kicked out of my hometown if I didn't root for Western Kentucky. I have to go Tots.
All right. Well, Buffalo Wild Wings as our host this week for the Red and Blue Review as we're celebrating Angels in Disguise. We'll be raising food and raising funds again on July 17th at all the Buffalo Wild Wings stores in the metropolitan Louisville area. That includes Clarksville, Dixie Highway, Highlands, J-Town, Middletown, St. Matthews, where we are here, and Springer's. 10% of all the sales that day will go to the Angels in Disguise program, so put it on your calendar, Wednesday, July 17th. And joining us now is Denise Titus, who is the general manager here at the store at St. Matthews. And Denise, I know you want to be humble about this, but this Angels in Disguise thing was really your idea, wasn't it?
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Tell me what motivated you to do this, Denise.
Well, I've had kids that have come through before that have said it's their dream to work here, and they wanted to do that. So I've, in the past, I've done, had a kid come through and put the shirt on them, let them take their family's order, and go back and make the food and whatever. So I thought, why not do that with the Angels? It seemed like a natural thing to do.
Denise, one of the things I love about it, it gives a chance for your client base to really meet these young people with Down syndrome, because a lot of times they don't interact, they're not sure how to react to them, but you just treat them like regular, quote-unquote, normal folks, don't you?
Yeah, definitely. And I have been absolutely shocked by their senses of humor.
Yeah.
They have had us in stitches all day.
All right. Well, Denise, thanks for having us, and thanks for doing this. I know my son Grant's participating, and we appreciate you having us in. We come back on the Red and Blue Review. We're going to meet an honest-to-goodness angel, and now our angel is going to talk about what's coming up from CardinalSports.com. Howie?
Angel, I don't know about that. But hey,
I had to transition somehow.
But check out CardinalSports.com for all your Louisville news, football, basketball, recruiting, baseball, everything. CardinalSports.com.